France was one of the dominant central powers in the 17th century. Throughout this time period, France was ruled by the House of Bourbon.
There were 4 kings who ruled across this time period. The first was Henry IV, also known as Henry of Navarre, who ruled from 1589 to 1610. He was known for settling the conflict between Catholics and Protestants and issuing the Edict of Nantes, but most of that happened before 1600, so we won't talk much about him. After Henry was Louis XIII, who ruled from 1610 to 1643, when he was replaced by the Sun King. Louis XIV, also known as Louis the Great, ruled from 1643 to 1715, when he also died. Finally came Louis XV, who ruled from 1715 to 1774, but he didn't accomplish much before 1730, so we won't focus on him either.
In general, the nobility or second estate in this period tried to increase their power, while the monarchs tried to weaken them. During Louis XIII's reign, a lot of power was given to his chief minister, Cardinal Richelieu. Richelieu did a lot of things to consolidate the king's control. He eliminated private armies and fortifications of the Huguenots, and executed nobles who tried to gain territorial independence. He also appointed and sent out the intendants, which were non-noble officials who oversaw affairs in the French provinces. The intendants became more influential and often won in conflicts with provincial governors, thus strengthening the monarchy further. Although Richelieu was pretty good at politics, he wasn't so great at handling money. He increased the tie tax more than 2-fold and spent a fortune trying to defeat the Habsburgs in the 30 Years' War. When Cardinal Richelieu died and Louis XIII followed soon after, the Sun King was only 4 years old, so most of the governing power passed to another guy named Cardinal Mazarin, an Italian who was trained in France. Mazarin tried to continue with Richelieu's policies, but things didn't always work out. Everyone hated Mazarin because he wasn't French. Everyone hated him even more because he kept levying taxes to pay for war. Finally, the members of the Parliament of Paris, which is the largest court of law in France, allied with the nobles, and the people of Paris to revolt, starting the Fronde. However, Mazarin soon squashed the rebellion with a far superior army. Later, when the nobles tried to fight the monarchy, they were also quickly extinguished. These were the last signs of conflict between nobility and the monarchy. The royal authority was strengthened as a result, and the stage was set for the absolute monarchy of the Sun King.
To control the nobility, Louis XIV's tactic was to keep them in his palace at Versailles, distracting them with everyday routines, shows, and parties, while Louis himself took absolute control of the state. The renovated palace at Versailles was considered a huge project in Louis's reign and a symbol of the glory and wealth of the Sun King. Louis's Minister of Finances was Jean-Baptiste Colbert. He worked hard to revive the choking French economy under the principle of mercantilism. Things Colbert did included the creation of luxury industries, tariffs on foreign goods, and the building of infrastructure such as roads and canals. But no matter how much money Colbert was able to save, Louis somehow spent it all away on his seemingly endless wars.
The 30 Years' War, the French opposed the Habsburgs and allied with Protestant Sweden in the process. French won with the Treaty of Westphalia and then also won in the war against Spain, and this ended with the Treaty of Pyrene. Then came the good old Sun King. Louis XIV really liked war. He wanted land and glory, so he just kept invading others. One war that he did was War of Devolution. Louis wanted so much of the Spanish Netherlands and French Comte, so he invades. The Dutch, England, and Swedes get scared and form the Triple Alliance to stop Louis. It works, and he settles for gaining a bit of land. The Dutch War. Louis is mad at the Dutch for making the Triple Alliance, so he invades them. Brandenburg, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire get scared and start working together to stop Louis. It works, and he settles for gaining a bit more of land. The 9 Years' War. Louis really thinks the Holy Roman Empire is weak, so he invades. Spain, the Holy Roman Empire, the United Provinces, Sweden, and England get really scared and form the League of Augsburg to stop Louis from invading and conquering all of Europe. It works, and he settles by gaining a bit more land. The War of Spanish Succession. Spain's King Charles II dies and leaves the throne to Louis's grandson, Philip V. France and Spain has a possibility of uniting as a Bourbon dynasty. England, the United Provinces, Habsburg, Austria, and the German states get really scared and form a coalition to stop Louis. The coalition works and Louis settles for defeat. In the Treaty of Utrecht, England gets Gibraltar and lots of Canada land. Austria and Brandenburg Prussia get some land, and France, although still powerful, starts losing money and emerges poor and miserable. King Louis XIV dies soon afterward.
In the 17th century, most Frenchmen were Catholic. However, the Protestant minority was allowed to worship under the Edict of Nantes. However, the Sun King, Louis XIV, felt that the Protestants undermined his authority, thus initiating the Edict of Fontainebleau, which revoked the Edict of Nantes. This led to many Protestants leaving in exodus to England, the United Provinces, and the German states.